Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, welcome to the very first episode of Bad Creepypasta Chronicles, the show where I delve into the underworld and read some insanely bad creepypastas and read them. I'm your host, Icy Pie, and before we get into this, I just want to tell you guys a few things first. So, like I said earlier, Bad Creepypasta Chronicles is a series where I read bad creepypastas. However, I'm also going to be, pointing out their cliches and flaws, and then adding up a total score of their flaws at the end. And I'm going to be using a few different counters to count that. Now, a C is for cliche, so basically if there's blood or gore or the term hyper-realistic, and etc. L is going to be for logic errors, so basically the character not doing something that would normally be considered common sense. Like, for example, thinking what happened was just a glitch. CH is for comprehension errors, so basically when something in the story is very difficult to understand because of the way the author wrote it, or grammar issues. And finally, G is for general errors, so when 2 points in the story contradict each other, or when I find an error and I just don't know where to put it, so I just put it there. So with all that being said, you should probably understand how I'm doing this now, and if you don't, rewind and listen to the explanation again. But without further ado, let's get into Sonic.exe. Jesus, no. Sonic.exe is terrible, and the fact that I have to explain why is proof enough of the fact that the internet will gladly prefer a very bad creepypasta over one that's actually decent. And you could say, oh, well, Jamie, it's their opinion, just let them like what they want. And okay, but you see, this isn't like the console wars where you can just like whatever console you want. This is about quality. Sonic.exe is riddled with cliches, grammar errors, logic errors, and a very narcissistic author. But I'll get into that when I'm done reading this absolute BS. Alright, now, just before I get into it, I'm gonna say that because of the length of Sonic.exe, I'm gonna be more summarizing it and reading at the same time, so I guess, yeah. Sonic.exe begins with our main character Tom talking to us about how much he's a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everybody else. Yeah, that's debatable. But he then goes on to state that he's never really played any hacked or glitchy games before, and he doesn't really want to after the experience he had. Alright. While Tommy Boy's playing Sonic Unleashed, he sees that the mailman had arrived and put something in the mailbox. He paused the game to go see what was in the mail, and found a note and a CD case for computers. For computers. Alright. Now, along with the CD case for computers, was a note from his best friend Kyle, which pleads for him to destroy the CD. And what does Tom do? He puts it in his PC literally right after seeing Sonic.exe being written on the disc. Yeah, why would you put the disc in your computer when your probably dead friend, considering the letter, asked you not to and to destroy it? I mean, to be honest, Tom does make a pretty good statement in the next paragraph saying, how would the CD do anything bad to him? But actually, here's a better question. Why would Kyle send this disc to the one friend he has that is like an extreme Sonic fan when he does know that the disc has Sonic.exe written on it? Dude, he's playing Sonic Unleashed of all things, of course he's gonna play it. But yeah, so logic error! But yeah, so Thomas here decides to put the disc in his computer like the good friend that he is. And at first it's all normal Sonic 1 intro thing, but then an image flashes. And then it goes to black. And even though this image was only shown for a split second, Tom is somehow able to describe what was in the image in great detail. His eyes were pitch black and bleeding with two glowing red dots staring right at me. His smile was stretched wider up to the edge of his face. I was rather disturbed about that image when I saw it, which I figured was just a glitch and forgot about it. Yeah. Sonic staring right at you with blood coming out of his eyes. Just a glitch. But yeah, seriously though, how is he able to know this stuff? The image was shown for a split second. Tom then starts to describe the menu screen. It was basically the menu screen from Sonic 3 with EarthBound music playing in the background. Now, I actually don't really know if having stuff from another game and having references is a cliche or if it's a logic error, and it's definitely not comprehension. So but I do believe that it does kind of kill the tension. I mean, just talking about EarthBound. So, general. But yeah, so Tom does come to the conclusion that the game's hacked, so good thing, this guy actually does have some brain cells. But then he says this, as a smart gamer, I wasn't scared. Smart gamer. This was on the Creepypasta wiki. It took them years to take this down. Smart gamer. But yeah, so Tom starts playing the first level, which is called Hill. I have a lot of those. And it starts playing music in reverse. He's playing his Tails, and it's playing music in reverse. Yeah. And then it starts showing dead animals with blood and gore. God damn, I'm terrified. And then Tails finally comes across our main boy, Sonic. And then Tails starts walking to him, and it's weird because, like, Tom keeps talking about Tails' like emotional state as if we care about how a character in a hacked game feels. And then Sonic and Tails start playing, like, you know, a little bit of hide and seek, like, you know, just like old times. Oh, and Sonic commits a freaking hate crime. Now, you see, I would go over the next 2 levels of the game, which is, like, you know, Knuckles and Robotnik, but I'm not going to. And why? Because that brings up another problem with the story. They are literally the exact same as the Tails one. It's very repetitive. I'm dead serious, it just starts with them walking on a flat plane and then bam, horror occurs. But yeah, so Tom gets a little bit too spooked and has to go take a nap. But then he begins to have the most disturbing nightmare.
You're a lot of fun to play with, kid. You're just like your friend Kyle, though he didn't last long.
I was scared and looking around for the source of the voice.
You won't be long now before you join him and all my other friends.
I saw him walking toward me, flickering in and out in several directions. I'm so scared. You can't run, kid. You're in my world now, just like the others. When he grabbed me, and I saw his bleeding black and red-eyed grinning face, I woke up with a fright. So at this point, Tom wakes up from nap time and decides to finish up the game and play as Robotnik, which he legit says is wacky. That he's playing Robotnik, as if that is the weirdest thing that's happened to him so far. And the level title? It was ... That's horrifying. But yeah, so Robotnik gets killed, and then it shows Tom a most unpleasant image. It took the Creepypasta wiki years to remove this BS. Years. I'm not joking. But yeah, then the game showed Tom this hilarious thing. I am God. Bro, you gotta prove that, man. I'm agnostic.
I'm the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Prove it! Take a poop in front of us.
And then turn it into wine.
Turn that poop into wine.
Turn that poop into wine. Turn that poop into wine.
Okay, listen to this. You're gonna love this. Okay, so after that happened, Tom is just all like, this Sonic was a monster. A pure evil, sadistic, all-powerful, nightmarish, demented monster. And all of his victims, including Tails, Knuckles, Robodrick, and possibly Kyle, are just his little toys. And the game is just the very gateway to his chaotic, nightmarish world, and the very hell his victims are trapped in. Yeah, I just love how Tom is just so goddamn melodramatic over this. I mean, that's not how you make a good creepypasta, that's just cringy and terrible. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik and cried a bit. I pitied them for the agony they're going through. They were forever trapped in the game, forever tormented by that horrid hedgehog, and will always be. I just love how Tom is so attached to these characters that he legit cries when Sonic is tormenting them. It's just hilarious. Oh, and of course, computer shut off by itself because it's a creepypasta, why wouldn't it? But yeah, we are now at the end of the story. The final stretch, the final scare. What'll happen to Tom? What'll happen to Sonic? What'll happen to Tails? What'll happen to Knuckles? What'll happen to Robodrick? What'll happen to... Did I say Kyle? Now, whatever. What happens to all of the friends we've made along the way in this magical journey of friendship and courage and bravery? Well, I'm gonna read out the last line, and we're gonna find out. After I sat there for about 25 seconds, I heard a voice right behind me, like a whisper.
Oh yeah, try and keep this interesting for me, Tom.
I turned around to see where the voice came from. And what I saw, it made me scream. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic plushie. Smiling with bloodstains under its eyes. A Sonic plushie. JC-the-Hyena. All you could think of for the final scare of this entire story that is meant to be frightening to readers was a Sonic plushie. That is by far one of the worst endings to a creepypasta I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, god damn. That is just so stupid. But yeah, with that out of the way, I am going to be adding up all of the total issues, so the cliches, the logic errors, the comprehension errors, all that stuff, into so I'm going to be adding all that up into amount of total issues. However, first I must say this. So because of the length of the creepypasta, I wasn't really able to get all of the cliches in there. So yes, there are more cliches, there are more logic errors, there are more comprehension errors and grammar issues. So before we get into all of that adding up stuff, I'm going to go over all of the cliches and stuff that I've missed. 666. The word hyper-realistic is used 4 times. That is well beyond the legal amount, which is 0. The part of the story where Tom describes the I am God image is very incomprehensible and very complicated, and it doesn't need to be. I mean, look at this. The image showed a hyper-realistic of Sonic standing in the darkness where you can only see his face while his head and torso fade into. I mean, dude, you don't need to do that. Just say it's a picture of Sonic's face on a black background. The good old, the game knows my real name thing is very overused. Now, don't get me wrong. This can be done, and it can be done right. However, in Sonic.exe, it really just doesn't come off very well. Kefka laugh from Final Fantasy. Okay, that's all. Let's get on with this. Oh, I'm not done yet though. So yeah, I think we can all now agree that Sonic.exe is a terrible creepypasta with terrible pacing, terrible cliches, and overall terrible writing in general. But you may have heard me in the beginning of the video say that the author is a huge narcissist, and that this creepypasta was on the Creepypasta wiki. And yes, Sonic.exe was indeed on the Creepypasta wiki, but it was later removed for being exactly what I said it was in the video. And when good old JC-the-Hyena got wind of this, oh boy, he flipped out. On a now deleted post on his Fur Affinity page, yes, you heard me right, good old JC boy shared his thoughts on the whole ordeal, and he's just the nicest guy. Now keep in mind, the post was deleted, so I am reading off a little recreation of it on DeviantArt, so yeah. And also, the post does have some language in it, so stay tuned. I deeply regret to inform you all that I have received some bad news. The admins of the Creepypasta wiki have finally decided to delete Sonic.exe off the wiki on the grounds that it was badly written and had too many cliches and was a bad example of what should be a creepypasta. Bull friggin' horse. As you can see, I am furious with the fact that my masterpiece, which has won the hearts of millions and has made a massive impact on the internet, is being brought down by a bunch of jealous, arrogant, retarded, furry haters. But that doesn't mean I'm just going to sit down and take this lightly. Nope. They have been messing with the bull, and now They've called out the horns! Oh god, I'm gonna fall. Listen everyone, I need your help with this. We are at war here! I want every Sonic.exe fan who is reading this to get the word out! I want you to tell every other Sonic.exe fan out there, every fanatic, every artist, every follower of my creation about this. Tell your friends who are also Sonic.exe fans if they have to. Tell them to keep the spirit of Sonic.exe alive. Make more fan art. Make more videos. Block the haters. Praise Sonic.exe like you never have before. Build websites dedicated to his greatness. Whatever you do to gotta keep him alive and strong, just do it! The deletion of Sonic.exe from the wiki is but a minor cut on a flower of greatness, my friends, what? And that cut has done nothing but further the spreading. And we are the pollen of this flower. Jesus Christ. We need to prepare for our victory over the haters. The haters need to bleed for their crimes. Jesus Christ. Rejoice, my fellow Sonic.exe fans. Our glorious little hellspawn shall have the laugh. Yeah. What? This will be his ultimate victory! The absolute subjugation of the internet itself! There were other people in the room, by the way. But yeah, so not only is Sonic.exe a terrible creepypasta, but the author, JC-the-Hyena, is also a narcissistic, childish, and just an amazing person. Now, in Bad Creepypasta Chronicles, I want to keep it so that, like, I'm not, so I don't, want to, disrespect the author, but, if you're, someone like JC-the-Hyena, who kind of, feels entitled to all of this fame and stuff like that, and calling your own story a masterpiece, dude, I should honestly kind of expect that. However, being completely honest, I actually did kind of like Sonic.exe when I was dude, when I was a lot younger though. That's because I didn't have any grasp on how quality and creepypastas worked. And looking back at it now, I just always think to myself, why? It just sucks how the internet will vastly prefer a bad creepypasta over one that's actually decent. And in fact, a lot of the popular creepypastas out there are terrible. I'm talking about stuff like Blood Whistle and Jeff the Killer and Sally. And oh my god, I hate Sally. Not because of the content or the writing or anything like that, but it's just because it absolutely disgusts me. But that's for another day. So with that being said, thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Icy Pie, which is me, and I'll see you all in the next video. See ya!